Hi Tea Society, welcome back to the Antisocial Planet. Today we are checking out MISAMO's Identity Studio Choom performance because I have to. This is purely self-indulgence. I know that people are going to be happy to see this and that I'm watching this, but this is mostly just because I can't stop thinking about it and it keeps popping up on my YouTube home feed and I don't have the strength anymore to resist. Now, that being said, we are going to check out two versions of it because there's the general performance one and then there's the full focused one because there isn't a dance practice for this. So I think the only chance I'm going to get to have a steady pulled out cam of this performance is going to be probably the Studio Choom, because I think that the other live performances we're going to get lots of camera angles and things like that. So my thought is that I'm checking that out because of that reason and definitely not because I decided to wake up and choose violence today for myself. Now, that being said, I do also know that there's like the focus cams on each of the members. We'll have to save that science for another day, but I know about it and I'm gonna keep thinking about it until I do something about it, but that's another issue. Okay, today we're doing these two performances. So we're gonna start with the general performance one and then we'll do the focus one where there will probably be hopefully some kind of analysis, but we'll see how I fare after the first one. All right, I'm already intimidated by this frame and it's not even fully in focus, but queen behavior already with them being like lifted up by their dancers. Dang. I also love that they're in the red with the dancers being in black with the Studio Choom being like more of this white space. Great contrast. I am a little bit nervous. I'm procrastinating a little bit because I know that these are the red outfits from the MV. They made me malfunction, specifically Mina's. Okay, it's fine. We're good. Pray for me. Gosh, it's so HD. I'm not prepared for Momo at HD. No, just fine. What, did we get 2 seconds in? Maybe? It's fine. I need them to not look at me like that. Any of them. No. Ooh. I'm sorry, where are the back of these shirts for the dancers? Momo, please. I'm too distracted by everything that's happening. I need Sana to never, ever say that line at the beginning of this song to me ever again. But I'm gonna watch it now because I've rewound. So look, I know I blush every time that Sana's on the screen. You don't need to point it out, I get it. I've accepted that there's a problem. I just don't know what to do about it. Actual thoughts. I love the little recoil, like hydraulic motion that Momo had when she struck the first pose at the beginning of the choreo. There was also some great like hitting little details on like the instrumentation in the back. I am trying a little bit. Oh my god. That hydraulic there. Ooh, that like chest isolation. I need Momo to stop smirking at me. Ooh, the legs in the back. Okay, I'm just I'm sorry, my brain turned off a little bit. Love like the legs going over in the back. I need them all to not smirk at me. I like that we had the alternating between the dancers and them. Again, great with the contrast of the coloring. No comment. Ooh, I didn't know there was a lip. Hang on, I'm sorry, Sana. What about the leg detail? Mina, please leave me. No. I feel like every time I pose when Momo's on the screen, I'm like, screenshot it. I know I have a Sana problem. I understand. Mina's part of my bias line. I get it. Momo has been a problem since I watched her performance video for the first birthday that I celebrated with her. So I understand that performance Momo is an issue. And the more that I learn about her, the more I'm like, she'd be really fun to hang out with. I feel like our personalities would mesh. But there's something about this Momo that I can't get over. I don't know what it is. Is it the blonde hair? Is it the bob? Is it just the confidence that she's radiating? I don't know, but it's a lot. And I was already like, Mina looks great here because I feel like she's a different vibe, right? Momo in this performance, it's cheeky. She has like this confidence, this like smirk. She knows that she's a really great performer. Sana always has this kind of like underlying cuteness to her performance, but there's definitely also this, it almost feels like this pulling in. Maybe I'm projecting, maybe I am. I'm willing to accept that. But she pulls you into her orbit a little bit. And Mina is different. Mina feels expensive. Is that, does that make sense? There's like an elegance to the way that she's performing that I'm just like, I get it. I understand. Do not touch. I listen to that song. I get it. I understand the assignment. But she doesn't have to seem so expensive. We're not even halfway through. I'm sorry. I love that move with the hands. No, Momo. Absolutely not. Love that too. I'm sorry. For science, I'm rewinding. The shoulder movement though. I don't know what it is about that move. It's like the tension in it. I don't have any justification for this rewind, but I think you understand. It's just, there's something about that shoulder movement. I don't know what it is because it's like, it's slow, it's methodical. You'd have to practice it a lot to get it right. And there's this tension behind the movement, right? It feels like there's, I don't know, a weight to the movements in a way that there isn't in some of their more floaty movements, especially the hand details, that it just contrasts wonderfully. I don't know. There's something about it. And then they get to the like feeling yourself. And my brain stopped and I need Sana to not look at me like that. I knew this is what we're doing. I understood. I chose this for myself. It's fine. And they hit the beat on like with their elbows just too. Momo's ad-libs though. Princess hero, queen dam잖아. It's enough for me just to be myself. Everyone's royalty. 나를 힘이 take a trumpet. Mina, please. When I'm trying to talk about Mina, Momo jumps in. When I'm trying to talk about Momo, Mina jumps in. Sana's always an issue. I need everyone to take turns, okay? Maybe we should have done the focus on singular members. Maybe that would have been easier. Anyway, I love in Momo's part with the blade sound. She has the shoulder movement and then the finger detail in like this, the center of like her abdomen or whatever. Look, I'm trying to have thoughts that aren't just like, I feel like you get it. Princess hero, queen dam잖아. It's enough for me just to be myself. Everyone's royalty. 나를 힘이 take a trumpet. Body to my beat, dum dum. You get it right, don't matter than I am. 이신데 shining bright, 빛이 투구시게 feels alright. Ooh, I love that lean back with the like assist. Ooh, that like pendulum almost movement. I'm sorry, like, okay, just not to focus. Momo, please. Not to focus too much on the shoulder thing. I don't know what it is about that move. My brain just like fixates on it. Love it. But like the facial expression that Momo has every time they do that hit with the elbow on that beat, she's such a good performer. I knew that. I did. But still. No. I love all the hand details. Oh my god, Sana. I don't know what Sana's doing with her eye. Mina, please. Again, I need y'all to take turns. I feel bad because I haven't been I focused a little bit on the dancers that are supporting them, and then I was like, I got distracted. I feel bad. I'm sorry. I'm sure they're doing a great job. Like all the assists in it of creating all these great images, tableaus, and the lifts, the leans. Momo had the one lean back and the dancers were supporting her, and then having that swing back and forth movement that we had with Mina and Sana. Really cool imagery of them kind of creating this landscape that the choreo is happening within. I just want to point that out because they are doing a great job, and it's just, I don't want it to all be me thirsting after MISAMO. But Sana's eyes are different here. Again, I already had a Sana problem, but the way that she's looking at the camera in this, I need her to not do that ever again. She probably has, because it seems like this is what MISAMO is like in the 2 songs I've checked out so far. But just no, I need the cute, adorable cinnamon bun Sana. Thank you. Holding my breath there for a second. Ooh, creating the ma'am, the chairs. Again, great like landscape for the choreo. No, I mean yes, but also, God, Mina's too beautiful. See, that's what I need. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for recentering me after all of that with the cinnamon bun Sana that I need to bring me back down to earth, touch some grass. I need Momo to not be so cheeky. I need Sana to never look at me with those eyes again. And I need Mina to stop just being so princess, right? She looks like she deserves to be in a fantasy painting, right? She looks like she needs to be some kind of elven princess. She's a real person. We're gonna watch it again though. Hopefully, maybe I try to give some thoughts about the choreo in this because I do feel like sometimes with the cameras that are a little more focused in, it's easier to get some of the details, especially since there are so many little hand details and certain beats that they're hitting with the shoulder movements that I got some of them, maybe. Hopefully we'll focus a little bit more on the choreo and analyzing that. No promises though, because that I struggled. It's literally only like less than 3 minutes. I have no idea how long I've been recording, but it'll be more than that. All right, round 2. Will I make it? I don't know. We'll find out. I love that they start in thrones, they end in thrones. Like that just makes sense. I'm coming to you. Love that like recoil. Good spin. Like good spin, and they land with their foot out, like all of the dancers on that beat there, like really well synced. I need Mina to not dance like that either. I love like the circle around, but it also kind of looks like a heart. Well, this move that Mina does there, I need her to not. Thanks. Ooh, good diagonal line there too. Sorry. Trying to take everything in because we've got multiple formations happening. The line. Ooh, they're all kind of doing their own thing, the dancers. Also, can we talk about how in that line, right, that we have where they're all alternating with the dancers and they do that like really quick cannon down, that Mina has to get into that formation right on beat because she walks over and she immediately does her move like in sync with that cannon there. Like she nailed it. This is a lot easier with some distance. Love that lift. Ooh, I also noticed that she does like a little, Momo does it like a turn with the hands crossed. Ooh. Okay, so I was not focusing on our MISAMO in the middle there, full transparency, because I wanted to see what the dancers were doing, because most of the time during that part we have a close-up on them, right? Both in the music video, and in the music video there were a lot more dancers, so it's a little bit of different formation happening, but also in the previous Studio Choom, so I wanted to see what they were doing. And it's really interesting that we have the diagonal lines on the outside that are doing something different. And then you have the dancers on like kind of the middle level with MISAMO's in the center. Then you have the ones outside. They're like matching with them. And then the outside is doing something slightly different. Yeah, the male dancers. And then they sync up every once in a while. Ooh, like that one, the with the hands. The dancers on the outside have their hands are like up over their head instead. Great use of like levels. Okay, I will actually focus on, oh, look at the lines we got there. The angles, the arms. Dang, look, I know that they're good. I understand. But I feel like there's so many little details in this that I'm noticing. They're not serving eyes at me, okay? There's so many good details in this that they just nail in terms of like, angles, timing, hitting certain beats, being in sync, both MISAMO and the dancers. It's just a really tight performance. You can tell how much they practiced. Love that hand movement. Ooh, I also love there that when Mina does her little "this is me," she's out of sync with the choreo, so she stands out. Like that arm movement too, so you can really point her out. Great use of levels there with the backup dancers too. Ooh, floor work. Sorry, we got like the floor work and then the like jump and spin. Ooh, I love that like the hand, like the dancers are so good in this. I feel bad that I got distracted not noticing them. I was like, I noticed some of them, and some of them have some great facial expressions too. It's not just the precision that they're getting with some of their choreo, it's also, even though they're not the focal point, some of them have solid facial expressions for this performance too. I like that the male dancers are doing like their own thing out of sync. Sorry, I love that because I know that Momo has like the leg out movement that she does for her part, but I love that the dancers use that to get in position. I also love how even there, I love how the dancers use that leg out to get into position and sync up with the choreo, but I also love how seamlessly Momo syncs up with the backup dancers. She comes forward, does her part, stands out, and then even with this where she's clearly meant to stand out in terms of the outfit that she's wearing in contrast to the black that the backup dancers are wearing, but even then she sinks wonderfully back into the choreo, right? She steps back, syncs up with the dancers while still being this focal point of MISAMO having a formation together with the three of them, but she does a great job of having her own style to still like pick herself out as one of the focal points of the main performance, but still sinking in, right? Like if we had a dance practice where they're in more casual clothing, if she was even dressed like some of the backup dancers, you could still pick her out as one of the main performers because she's putting in just enough of a little flair into her movements, but she's able to still sink into the overall image, right? Being pulled out, the image doesn't get disrupted by her. Does that make sense? It's a great balance in her performance. Like there, synced back in. She's still front and center, but... And then standing out again. Wow, I didn't notice the legs from the backup dancers. Ooh. Just notice one thing for this. Indulge me for a second. Yeah. Okay. I've been pointing out before about how tight this performance is. I'm going to point out, possibly you could label it a mistake, but don't get upset. But Momo in this part she doesn't get fully center at first, and you can see her correct for it. And I was like, she's not quite centered with Sana and Mina. So I was like backing up because I'm like, I want to see the overall formation with the dancers, right? I want to unfocus from our three in the middle and see the full image. And she's not fully centered, but you can see her clock it, and she shifts and she fixes it. And she does it like so seamlessly that, I mean, I didn't notice in the previous one. I don't know if I could have gotten a far enough angle to be able to see that. And to the point where even watching it in this form, I wasn't entirely sure if I was right. I thought maybe it might be the camera angle, but she moves into center here. This part, see? She's off. Even with the backup dancers, right? The backup dancers are where they're supposed to be. Again, it might be like slightly the camera angle because it's a bit of an extreme point that she's at, but she doesn't quite get over enough, right? And she's staying there, right? So it's not like her moving into formation. She didn't get quite over, but you see her fix it. There, right there, she fixes it. Does that make sense? I don't know if you could catch it, but I think that's so good. It's such a slight little thing, not only to notice that she's not quite there because she's in formation, she doesn't panic, she keeps doing her dance, she finds the moment in the choreo to fix it, and she does it in such a minute little way that it blends into the choreo. And I'm only pointing it out not because I'm here to be like, oh my gosh, there was a mistake. I'm here to say when there is a mistake, because inevitably there will be. Every performance I've ever done, there's been something that I had to correct for in the moment on stage. And I know that this is like filmed. It's a little bit of a different environment to put this together. They probably did this multiple times and took different takes that were going to be this. And I know sometimes with these two, they are really good about editing them together. You don't even, there might have been an edit at this in this, and I'm like, I'm not a video editor, so I'm not going to catch it, because they're really good at Studio Choom of like lining up shots and really blending the cuts between different takes if they decide to make it look like one take, but it isn't. So there may be, and I just haven't noticed because that's not where my expertise is. But I love getting to see how people correct for mistakes, because again, they'll inevitably happen. And seeing Momo do that so seamlessly, so effortlessly, and she clocked it quickly, but because of the movement where she had to jump and have the leg spread out movement, there's not a great way to correct at that point. So she had to stay for a few seconds and then correct when she had a chance, right? And I love that. I love that she knew the right point in the choreo to do it in the most seamless way that had I not been looking for things, I probably wouldn't have noticed, right? I'm trying really hard with this one to like actually go into kind of analyst mode of when I used to analyze people's performances and give feedbacks and critiques and stuff like that. So I'm trying to get into that mode a little bit more than my once brain like I did with the first one. But great fix there. Super impressive how seamlessly she did that. Great use of like, sorry, I got distracted by the move. Like just talking about how I was turning off my once brain, and then my once brain was like, hang on. But great use of elbow movements in this, like leading movements with the elbow. There's just like a nice power to it. Sorry, not to keep rewinding, but I think there was a good correction there from Sana, too, of her clocking where the camera was. I feel like her eye movement. Yeah, she wasn't looking at the camera that was focused on her, but she fixed it really quick. Okay, I'm gonna rewind again. I want to see how the dancers get into this formation. Great use of levels. Ooh, and great way of kind of covering up the setup to get here. I'm gonna keep going, but we have the female dancers that are blocking the male dancers as they get into formation. And I also love that we have the two on the ends that are making sure everything's balanced and making sure that everything's steady for that formation. Really well put together. Great job all around. Like, again, super tight performance. There's so many parts in that where I'm like, they practiced the heck out of this. The dancers are really good. They did a great job. I love the different use of levels, because again, I didn't really get to see that with a lot of the other times I've watched this in terms of the music video and then the previous Studio Choom, because it is zoomed in and focusing on MISAMO, which is the point, right? But getting to see the different things that they were doing, the out of sync movements. I like that it was focused on the male dancers were doing things out of sync and then they sync in every once in a while for certain movements. And then the female dancers were more synced up with MISAMO, which is just interesting. Also, aren't there, doing the numbers now, were there enough female dancers that when they were together, is it the same members of Twice? I feel like maybe somebody pointed that out at some point. There was something where someone pointed out that there was some kind of syncing for the number of members for Twice. I might be wrong, but it's really interesting to see the way that they chose to go out of sync and then back into sync. Again, great performance from MISAMO as well, obviously, but from the way that I struggled. But I love getting to see performances that are more stable and zoomed out because it lets me analyze them a little bit better. It is a little bit more akin to when I was performing and focusing in on people's performances and giving feedback and that kind of thing. It's a little bit easier to get the full picture. And I think that it's a little bit trickier to cover up certain things, right? Like you can't cover up the fact that certain angles aren't the right place, or people aren't synchronizing on certain beats with movements, or people aren't centered in a formation, right? All of these moments of people needing to correct for things. Overall, again, super tight. You can see how much they've practiced, but I love getting to see how the members of MISAMO correct for things. Momo correcting that formation was so professional. And it just makes me respect her so much more as a performer that she did that so well, to the point where I'm sure there are people who have watched this multiple times, haven't clocked it, right? And that I think is the sign of such a good performer. Like, being a great performer isn't you never make mistakes. It's how gracefully can you correct for mistakes when they happen. And seeing how well she did that was great. And Sana as well, like, you wouldn't have clocked in a switching camera movements that she didn't look at the right camera at the right moment, but she fixed it super quick. And I can only imagine how much stuff was happening behind camera that was keeping them where they needed to be, right? Marking center and signaling which cameras were the focal point and stuff like that. There's so much technical side to doing a performance like this that's filmed as opposed to also in a live setting, but it's a little bit of a different set of complexities. But what a performance. What a performance, both from the technical side and from just being a fan. Hopefully we got a bit of both in this one. So good. I'm a little bit upset that there isn't an official dance practice, a little bit, just as someone who loves performance and dancing. I know that there is a live performance. I think that it's on the Twice Japanese YouTube channel. I feel like somebody mentioned that there's it's only gonna be there for a little bit because it was one of their TV performances or whatever, but a little bit upset that there isn't more. Maybe there is the whole performance circuit that I just missed out on, but I'm definitely gonna be investigating some more on that. So let me know down in the comments if you have any thoughts or observations on that one of how I could conduct further scientific experiments on seeing this performance. But I'm definitely gonna have to check out the focus ones on each of the members, even though I know it'll wreck me. I know. However, I have to. I gotta at this point. It's impossible to ignore, but a fantastic performance overall. Just getting to see them doing this choreo. There's so many little details in it that I really love. I think that it really pulls into what the song is about. There's this confidence to the way that they're moving. There's this great way of, like I was saying, that all of the backup dancers being there to create this landscape for them. It very much feels like there's this spotlight for MISAMO. Obviously, they're supposed to be because they're like the main performers, but the fact that all of these dancers aren't just copying what the members are doing or being in sync with them, they're also creating this whole landscape in which they are inhabiting. It really has this, I don't know, main character energy for MISAMO in a very different level, which is the whole point of the song. Is I know who I am, I know who I want to be. This is me genuinely being myself, and you're going to love me for that because I'm fantastic. Here's this wonderful confidence to this song and like being true to oneself, that having the whole choreo very much morph into these like images and these different, I don't know, motion that kind of makes them all flow together into this almost background that feels awful because they're fantastic dancers and they did a great job with this performance. But you know what I mean? Like the whole background, the whole environment seems to flow to cater to MISAMO and what they're trying to communicate in the song. And there's a wonderful confidence and power and like main character energy to that I really love them incorporating that into the performance. And hopefully I had some actual intelligible thoughts. I hope that I did. I tried. I really did. I had to turn off my brain quite a bit. I tried to remain focused in this, but there were definitely points where distraction was inevitable. But I hope you enjoyed watching that along with me. You can click this place to go into my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so next time I post a MISAMO or Twice reaction. I will see you in the next video. Bye.